This is the first lock of the day, 2nd of May, the day after the tunnel. We're moored overnight just above this lock, and today we've got 9 locks to do, all in quick succession, so it will probably be a short day in terms of time and a short day in terms of mileage, but a lot of locking to do. So this is Marsden, and that little building there is a valve house, and there's a feeder comes down and it feeds into the canal just above the tailgate. So that's keeping water in the canal. There's going to be quite a bit of water used today because the boat gone in front of us, and then there's us, and then there's another boat behind us. So we're going to be flushing a bit of water out of the canal. So we've now left the summit level of the canal, and we're dropping down quite considerably now in a short distance. A little bit like Marple, where we dropped very rapidly through 16 locks. Today it's 9, and tomorrow it's 10. I don't think we'll manage 19 in one day. We're not going to kill ourselves. We've got into a useful routine on these locks. Sue goes to get the next one ready, which is empty when we get here, and I deal with this one. And we've been told that with every possibility that these pounds will flood because they're very short pounds, and we need to make sure there's enough capacity in the pound before we open these. So we're just doing one paddle at a time. The idea is not to let the water go down the bywash, because that's wasting water. So Sue's now opening the top paddles on the lower lock, and hopefully the water that's coming out of here is going into that lock rather than down the bywash. So she's sinking slowly, the water's coming out. Some of these gates, we've only got one operable paddle, so it's a bit slower, but these are both up, so we're not doing too bad. We've seen some volunteer lock keepers who have gone up with another boat, and if you notice on this paddle, there's a little white stop block which regulates how high you can raise the paddle, which is done deliberately so that you don't flood the pound. And you can see the pound is more or less maintaining its level, because the water that's coming out of our lock, this lock, is going in 34E where Sue is. So it's all working fairly well, but you've got to be aware of the hydrology of everything with these short pounds, otherwise the towpath can get wet and it wastes water. all set and ready for me. Sue's come back up to close these bottom gates. So it's a fairly efficient routine that we've got going. This gate doesn't go back fully. She's going down faster on this lock because both paddles are working. And we've got a bigger pound here, so the proportion of the water out the lock isn't going to really make that much difference to the water level in the pound, not in terms of flooding it over. Quite a pleasant spot here, in between Marsden and Slaithwaite, which when written reads Slaithwaite, but you don't say Slaithwaite, we've learnt, so we have to say Slaithwaite. So we're only going to 36 today, so including this one there's 3 more locks, and that's not because we've had enough, but because the only mooring is below lock 36. If we don't moor there, we've then got another 10 locks to do before there's any more mooring, and I don't think we're going to attempt that today. It's Wednesday the 3rd of May, and we've spent the night on the bottom of the canal with a slight list. So much so that we're rolling out of bed almost, but we're ready to begin, and we're just above lock 31E, heading towards Slaithwaite, and we're going to attempt to get the boat back in the water. The bow's gone out, just got the stern to do, and then we'll be on our way. A load more locks this morning. Making very slow progress this morning. We keep getting grounded at every lock landing, and it's taking ages to get off. I bumped into some CRT operatives, and this guy's kindly offered to do the locks for me, but I think this is the last one he's going to do because he's got to get back to his van. But he's given us some good advice, and we just keep going. We're not going that far today. We always knew it was going to be a slow day, so it's turning out to be, but at least it's a beautiful day and there's no wind. If there was wind on top of all the other problems, I really would be stressing that it's a lovely morning, so just keep going. This is the approach to Slaithwaite, and it's very picturesque in this little cutting. canal is very wide here, even though it's called a narrow canal. But that refers to the locks, of course. And the bluebells are out in this embankment. Above there is the railway line that follows the canal. And to the right, as we look, is the River Colne making its way towards Slaithwaite. And this lock is unusual in that the bottom gate is a guillotine. So this is going to be a new experience. I think we've got over the worst of the locks now. The lock landings are so shallow that we've adopted the method of just bringing the boat up to the top gate and not actually tied up. Just pulling in at the top gate until the lock's ready. It's not worth risking trying to get to the side. Where these mushrooms are, just here, it's shallow, you can't get in. So what's the point of having the mushroom? So this is the outskirts now of Slaithwaite. And the towpath will improve as we get further in. And there's some nice visitor moorings that look pretty new, so we're just hoping that the canal has got the depth for the visitor moorings. Right, we've been at this lock 24E now for the best part of an hour. We've filled it once and it drained itself. A gentleman next in this house here has told us that the gate needs to go down more, so we've raised the gate and dropped it forcibly to try and get it to engage. So we've filled up again and it's emptied itself again. The ground paddles at the top can't keep up with the leakage. Now I've rung CRT and I'm told that they're sending somebody. We can't do anything now, we've got to wait for them because we're draining the upper pound. The water level where the boat is dropping considerably as we're trying to fill this lock, and you can see it physically going down, and the paddle's closed. The paddle is definitely closed, but on the guillotine there's two white lines that align when it's down, and from this angle you can see it's about an inch out, and that's all it's taking to leak out, and it's leaking out faster than we can fill it. The problem is once it fills up, the input from those ground paddles reduces as the levels start to get towards equal, and they never do get equal because the leakage on the bottom end is greater than the water coming in at the top. So we're just going to sit here and wait for CRT to come and sort it out. I don't know how long we've got to wait, but we've seen the guys this morning working at the top, about 3 locks up. So whether they're going to come down and help us or not, I don't know. But they're going to have to put more water in this pound because we're rapidly draining the canal, which is not good, and I don't want to be the one to get the blame for doing that. So we'll sit here and wait and see what happens. A CRT van has arrived, so hopefully before long we'll be in business. The problem is that the gate, the guillotine, doesn't go down
evenly, and there's a knack to it, which we obviously don't know. You've got to, that last foot, you've got to let it go down pretty sharpish, and then it goes down equally, and it sits square in the foot, which is what we've done. But the CRT man now has said that best thing we can do is have a lunch here for an hour and let this pound recover, because there is a bywash higher up, so it is taking in water upstream. So if we stop for an hour here and then try again, it will work. He's satisfied that the gate's gone down to the correct level, so it won't drain the lock again. So we're going to have some dinner. Sue's just gone. There's a little bakery down there that somebody recommended is worth going to. We were going to go and sit in, but she's gone to fetch some sandwiches and cakes, I presume. So I'm going to put a kettle on, get cleaned up, and wait for my sandwiches to arrive. But oh, this canal. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. It's not meant to be like this. But you've got to know, you've got to have that knowledge, and you know, we haven't got it. This guy here, he says he's been working on here for 18 years. He knows every little nuance of all the locks, all the pounds, and he knew straight away, you know, how to solve this problem, which obviously we don't. But we're seriously considering altering our course when we've got to Huddersfield, because we're due to go down the Rochdale Canal to go back south, and the CRT guys I spoke to this morning said it's worse than this. So the only alternative, if we're going to avoid the Rochdale, is to go even further north on the Leeds-Liverpool and come back down into Preston Brook, which is the top of the Trent and Mersey. And I think we are seriously considering doing that. It's going to add time onto the journey, probably 2 weeks, but we don't want this every lock. It just takes the enjoyment out of it. I mean, we're lucky that it's not hammering down with rain and blowing a gale. If it was, we'd be thinking of mooring up and catching the train home. So I'll leave that at that, and go and get the kettle on, wash my hands, and look forward to some nice fresh bread. So it's now 2:25, and we've actually managed to get the lock to fill, but it's still leaking, but we managed to get in. And Sue's now going to operate the guillotine gate once we're down to level. It's been a fairly slow morning. I started at about 8:15 this morning, and I can't remember how many lots we've done, only about half a dozen. But we're at Slaithwaite now, which is pronounced Slaithwaite, and I'm not sure if we've got another lock to do before we moor up. I think we might be mooring before the next lock, which is more or less in the town centre. So we've got some shopping to do, and do the Elson. I think we're going to do the Elson in the morning before we set off. We've made a decision to turn around and go back. We've rebooked the tunnel for a southbound passage. We spoke to the CRT lady, and she's rebooked us to go through the tunnel next Monday. So we've got about 5-6 days to get back towards the tunnel. And she's also arranged for the lock flight to be unlocked on Saturday. So we're going to go up the lock flight at Marsden on Saturday, and that will give us a day off on Sunday at Marsden, and then we'll go through the tunnel on Monday. I will say that all the people we've met in Yorkshire so far have been extremely helpful and friendly, and this chap's actually winding up the gate for her because it's quite heavy and it's making a pant a bit and I know the feeling. So it's good that we've got some nice friendly locals to help out when we need them. Just hope it doesn't drop down halfway as the boat's halfway underneath. I don't think it will. I'm sure there must be some safety device up there that prevents it from doing that. I can get under at that. It's got a hydraulic cylinder each side. It's not actually the chains that you wind in it, you're pumping a hydraulic cylinder. So we're going to give it a go anyway and see if we can get underneath. It looks like it's clear now. And as we come out the lock, there's a brewery and I can smell it.